Taylor James Johnson here for That Bigfoot Show on the Paranormal Network. And I am here today to talk to you about Gigantopithecus. Don't you love that word, Gigantopithecus? It rolls off the tongue like poetry. Gigantopithecus. Say it with me, everybody. Gigantopithecus. So, Gigantopithecus. What is it? Is it just an extinct ape? Did this thing evolve into Sasquatch? Is this thing Sasquatch, or does this thing have nothing to do with Sasquatch? Well, let's find out on That Bigfoot Show. Yes, that one. So many scientists and cryptozoologists believe that Gigantopithecus is the key to understanding the mystery that is Sasquatch. And I'm sure you've heard talk of this beast. It's that giant orangutan-looking thing, you know? Like a supersized Dr. Zaius, you know what I'm saying? But most importantly, Gigantopithecus is proof that giant primates have roamed this planet here that we like to call Earth. But the question is, do they still wander this planet that we like to call Earth? And the answer is, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I ask again, is Gigantopithecus Bigfoot? Maybe. Maybe not. And those modern day mainstream scientists, well, they believe that Gigantopithecus probably went extinct around 250,000 years or so, give or take a bunch of thousands, or through the process of evolution, believe it or not. Did this Gigantopithecus evolve into what we know as Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the wood booger? When standing on two legs, this thing is said to be able to reach up to like 8 to 10 feet tall, which is why many people call it the real King Kong. Yes, King Kong, based on a true story. And actually, now that I think of it, it is kind of incorrect, inaccurate, wrong to compare the Gigantopithecus to King Kong. King Kong is actually much, much larger than the Gigantopithecus ever got. The Gigantopithecus actually is closer to the size of Mighty Joe Young, or, you know, Son of Kong. But I understand calling the Gigantopithecus the real-life King Kong is much more clickbaitable. But Son of Kong and Mighty Joe Young, they are awesome too and deserve respect, especially because they are so much more similar to Gigantopithecus. Nothing against King Kong though, much respect to the king. And like other primates, there are many different types of species of Gigantopithecus. They pretty much come in big, medium, and small, and the big one, you know, the one that we're pretty much talking about, the one that everybody pretty much is referencing when they're talking about this kind of stuff, is actually called Gigantopithecus blacki. Before we can discover the mysteries of the universe, I mean, you know what you gotta do. You gotta like, share, and subscribe because, you know, ain't nothing gonna happen unless you do that. Those are the rules of the Gigantopithecus. I don't make this up. And the most interesting part about the Gigantopithecus is that they existed during the time of human beings. Yes, they walked on this planet the same time as our so-called ancestors. So maybe, just possibly, the mystery and the fear and the fascination that we have of giant hairy creatures that live in the woods comes from our ancestors coexisting with the Gigantopithecus. So the Gigantopithecus may not be, you know, Sasquatch per se, but possibly inspired Sasquatch, inspired the legend of Sasquatch, or inspired other people to at least get interested in Sasquatch, right? But yeah, that fear, that wonder of, hey, there's giant hairy creatures, man-like creatures in the woods, that is passed down generation through generation. That fear, that knowledge, some believe is passed down, you know, through our genes. your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's fear of giant monkeys is given straight to you through genetics. So we all know that Gigantopithecus did exist, but the real question is, you know, if you don't believe they still walk this earth, then what happened to them? What caused this mass extinction of this beautiful, wonderful, huge creature? Well, just like everything in this world, the answer is climate change. Yeah, that's right. The climate, it changed back then, and it caused what was once a jungle to be somewhat of a desert, a savanna. And these large beasts, they just couldn't keep up. Their diet had to change, and they could not survive. And these things, they don't really have a lot of offspring, so it's not like they were just pumping out babies. You know, primates of this size, they don't have that many children. So it's definitely harder to keep up the species, especially in a changing environment when your diet cannot keep up. And so yeah, climate change killed the Gigantopithecus, and Al Gore did nothing to stop it. The Gigantopithecus was discovered by a paleontologist in 1935, but not the way these types of creatures are usually discovered. No, he wasn't digging around in the dirt or nothing. He had heard rumors that in Chinese medicine shops, Chinese apothecaries, they were selling what is called dragon bones, and those were, you know, fossils. And there were rumors that there were fossils of undiscovered ancient prehistoric creatures in these apothecaries that were, you know, they were being grounded up, made into medicine that was said to pretty much cure anything and everything, from a toothache, a broken heart, fever, plague. And sometimes these fossils in these Chinese medicine shops were used as Viagra, whatever that's used for. But yeah, so this paleontologist, he's looking around in these apothecaries in China until one day he finds what is a very large molar, you know, a tooth. And since he's a smart man, educated in this kind of stuff, he can tell that this is a molar of a primate, and it is larger than anything that is known in all those science books. So these were not dragon teeth. No, these particular teeth were Gigantopithecus. That particular paleontologist, he picked that name. I think it means like giant ape or something, Gigantopithecus. And then Blackie, Gigantopithecus Blackie, was named after a colleague of his whose last name was Black, who had just passed away. Over the years, thousands of more of these Gigantopithecus teeth were found, and even a couple of jawbones. And that's pretty much all we have to prove that this magnificent monster walked this earth that I'm walking on right now. Oh my God. Mostly these are believed to have walked on all fours and then became bipedal, like a Sasquatch, when the occasion calls for it. But actually there have been many sightings of Sasquatch that have said to have been on all fours. So yeah, Gigantopithecus, Sasquatch, are they the same? Yeah. And of course, this is all theory. We don't actually know anything at all, but some people believe that these giants were vegetarians and lived in the tropics of southern Asia, areas known now as China, Vietnam, India, Nepal. You know the places where they have Sasquatch sightings. And many of the jawbones have been found deep in caves in China. So if you're ever in a cave deep in China, look around. You may find a Gigantopithecus jawbone. And yeah, some people thought that these dragon teeth and this giant primate tooth was actually the tooth of, well, giants. Like, you know, Goliath. Actual giants. Like people that look like me but are taller than 5'7". So yeah, the Gigantopithecus even helped further push the myth, the legend, the story of giants. Even the rebooted Jungle Book film got some of that Gigantopithecus action, ditching that traditional orangutan depiction of King Louis for a Gigantopithecus. perfectly casting Christopher Walken. And you may ask, why did they change King Louie, the famous orangutan, to a Gigantopithecus? That doesn't really make any sense. This is a Jungle Book movie. It's not a cryptozoology movie, but director Jon Favreau, well, he wanted to stay accurate to the types of animals that live in that area of India, and you know what? Orangutans don't live there. King Louie isn't even actually a character in the book of Jungle Book. It was just a fabrication by the Walt Disney Animation Company. And so Jon Favreau is like, oh my gosh, I'm all about authenticity. This must be fixed. How do we fix this? So they did a little research, and then they found out that the Gigantopithecus did roam the jungles of India. Not necessarily during the time that Jungle Book is taking place, but hey, that's why it's so fun. And hey, that's just if you believe mainstream science, which, you know, they're always right. So that's why King Louie is so freaking ginormous in the Jungle Book movie, if you're ever wondering why. That's why. He's a Gigantopithecus. He even says it in the lyrics, actually. Gigantopithecus, it's such a fun word to rhyme with.
Oh, how magnificent it would be! A Gigantopithecus like me!
So yeah, we can all thank Jon Favreau for bringing the Gigantopithecus into like a big blockbuster movie. Just like how he helped save the independent movie industry in the 90s and reinvigorated the Christmas film, he also gave birth to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he helped make Star Wars feel like Star Wars again. So yeah, Jon Favreau, thanks for making Gigantopithecus cool again. And it's very interesting that Disney would allow a so-called extinct creature in this film. You know, they invest a lot of money in this. Why would they do such a thing? I think there's a deeper, darker conspiracy to this. I think Disney knows something that they're not letting on. You know, Walt, he was involved in the nature science community back in the day, making those films, documentaries. I bet he knew something. I bet he found out something. And they're not, quote unquote, allowed to tell us, so they give us these little hints, these little clues in our pop culture, like, you know, that Everest ride, or the Matterhorn, or the Goofy movie. And now this, the Gigantopithecus in the Jungle Book reboot. Disney is hiding something, and they're rubbing it in our faces. We all know you're hiding something squatchy, Disney. It's time to come clean. We'll forgive you. So is there really a chance that Gigantopithecus is still out there? I mean, there have been hundreds of species that mainstream science thought was extinct, and then suddenly, oh, there they are. So it is possible. Anything's possible in this crazy, crazy, crazy world, especially when Mother Nature's involved, and especially when giant monkeys are involved. My God, it's hot. Look at that. Disgusting. Look at that. Awesome. So if Gigantopithecus is still around somewhere, it's probably really good at not getting found because, well, it hasn't been found. And it's probably, you know, developed the skills over the past millions of years to hide from us horrible, horrible humans. Well, some of us are nice. So yeah, my opinion is that the Gigantopithecus is probably smart enough to stay away from us man cubs. They'll probably just enjoy the next couple million years hiding right under our noses, in the shadows, in your backyard, or at least in our movies. But yeah, no matter what, the names Sasquatch and Gigantopithecus will forever be associated with each other. BFFs. Forever, yo. And you know what? It's pretty darn impressive that one animal has inspired the discovery and the creation of creatures and characters such as King Kong, King Louie, giants, and dragons. And of course, everybody's favorite, Bigfoot. So, do you out there believe in the Gigantopithecus Bigfoot correlation? Do you believe that we should look into this Gigantopithecus creature to further understand Sasquatch? Or do you think, like, hey, just because they're big and hairy don't mean they have nothing to do with each other? I don't know. Those are the questions I'm asking. That's why I'm making this video. So please, you know, I don't know, answer them. That's what the comment thing is supposed to do. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look how much hard work. I put my blood, my sweat, And well, I mean, just my sweat. I haven't bled yet this time into this video. And my tears, they'll come later, don't worry. So yeah, blood, sweat, and tears. That Bigfoot Show, yes.